we once again speak with Mike Singer, the Notre Dame football recruiting insider for Blue and Gold Illustrated, blueandgold.com. My name is Darin Pritchett, and we are here to talk about a verbal commitment. Commitment number 13 for Notre Dame for the class of 2023. And once again, Notre Dame has a running back now in the class, and his name is Jade Lamar. Mike, first off, give us your perspective on Jade Lamar, the football player, what he could bring to this Fighting Irish football program.
A lot of the comparisons that I've been hearing, not only from On3 director of scouting and rankings Charles Power, Blue and Gold analyst Tim Hyde, Notre Dame fans as well that I've seen in comments, is I see some Kyren Williams in him, and I see it as well. You know, he's listed at 5'11", 190. I think he's quicker. He's even he's faster than Kyren at this point. He's ran in the 4.4, 4.5 ranges already as a high school junior, laser timed as well, so not hand timed. Like when I was in high school, Darin, as a freshman, I ran a 4.7 on the track, and my coaches were like, "Whoa, it's crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you probably, clicked your timer when I was at 35 yards still." I appreciated that. But yeah, we're talking laser time. I think he's got a little mix of Tyree and Williams because he's got that. He's not as fast as Chris Tyree. I mean, Tyree is, track star. I mean, he is beyond fast. Lamar is very fast as well. So he's kind of got a blend of the speed of Tyree with kind of that all-purpose nature that Kyren Williams brings. It's a really nice get for Notre Dame. I mean, he catches the ball out of the backfield. He is good in the slot. Just an all-around good running back get for Notre Dame. And I mean, I've met him. I've met his family. Just awesome people. His younger brother is the class of 2025 prospect with an offer from Arizona already. So he's one to watch as well. So just all around, love this gift for Notre Dame.
Mike, it sure looks like that the Irish had to beat out a bunch of West Coast teams for his services.
Yeah, Oregon, Michigan, Arizona was his final four along with Notre Dame. USC had also offered him, UCLA. Texas A&M was even in there. So it really, Darin, just felt like Notre Dame from the get. I mean, they offered him last August, got him on campus for the USC game. He committed to the staff before he returned to Notre Dame for the Blue Gold game in April. So it was really just a matter of how can Notre Dame make these running back spots work? They're going to take two in this class. And look, who? It was just going to be a matter of who. And Lamar gets in there as one of them. Cedric Irvin, of course, bounced out a week ago today as we record this. It was May 20th. He decommitted from the Fighting Irish. Now it looks like there's still going to be a second back. Who that is obviously still to be determined.
Mike, at the end of the day, as you just mentioned, you lose Irvin, you add Lamar. The Irish are still in pretty good shape in their efforts to get two running backs. It looks like they've got a really good piece right now in Lamar with some really good possibilities still possibly ahead for this recruiting cycle.
In June, they're going to bring in Richard Young, a five-star running back from Southwest Florida, and they're also going to bring in Jeremiah Love, another track star. He's from St. Louis in Missouri. So, yeah, I mean, it's running back recruiting just keeps seeming to take steps up. From Lance Taylor now to DeLand McCullough. I mean, it's just looking really good. I mean, we talked about it earlier this week, Darin, so I want to dive back into the past recruiting classes here in the past couple of years of who Notre Dame has signed and gotten commitments from and everything. I mean, it's a talented group, and I think Notre Dame will land Jeremiah Love. I haven't put in a prediction yet at On3. I do like Notre Dame for him. I mean, they're going to have to beat out Alabama, Georgia, a bunch of other schools. Richard Young, that's a little bit more of a long shot, but hey, they're getting the five-star and number one running back in the country on campus. That's a big deal in itself.
If you don't mind, let me ask you one question about Young. I saw he laid out his visits coming up, and all 5 visits are basically within a week and a half. Notre Dame is a midweek visit. Does it matter at all in terms of official visits, whether you visit during the week or weekend? Is there really any difference when a kid chooses to come?
No, not really. I mean, there's a difference in that he's going to be the only recruit on campus. I mean, officially, at least, unless Notre Dame brings someone else in at that point. So they have more attention on him, but there's also not as many other, recruits on campus to bond with. Like the June 10th weekend has so many Notre Dame commits. June 17th has a few as well. So um, pros and cons, I would say. But I would say it's a bigger pro that he's able to spend as much time as possible with that Notre Dame staff. Or I should phrase that as Notre Dame's able to spend as much time with him. They don't have to worry about any other prospects.
Coming into this verbal commitment of Jade Lamar, they were the number one class according to On3, and I would assume Lamar's commitment does nothing to hurt that particular mark.
Correct. Yeah, number one class. So it's Notre Dame has 13 commitments right now. USC is number 2, and they have 7. So when I was at Rivals for almost a decade, they did their rankings differently. It's more of a point system. So early on, it rewards you the more commitments you have. Well, at On3, they use a score system for your average of commits. So of Notre Dame's 13 commitments, only their top 6 are being used for the score, and it's a 93.8. So that's the average ranking for the Notre Dame commits. All this information at on3.com. So yeah, slightly over USC right now. That's at 93.5. So yeah, really strong class early on. 13 commits, one's a 5-star, 11 4-stars, and 1 3-star. I mean, yeah, that's not too bad. And Darin, I mean, I was talking to just a source earlier today, and the amount of sunshine in the Notre Dame football offices is it's summertime. I mean, folks in the offices are just feeling very, very good about where recruiting's at and how this class can finish up.
So, with that being said, offer your perspective on how much of an impact Marcus Freeman has had as head coach in the recruiting circles. He said he was going to lead the charge, and I guess he's not disappointing.
I mean, Darin, you tossed me a lot of softballs in the couple years we've been doing this. This might be the biggest softball. Yeah, I mean, he's killing it. I mean, he's the lead recruiter for just about everybody. I mean, there's a couple of exceptions. Like a kid just got an offer and he hasn't talked to Freeman. Yeah, we understand that, but like these dudes, they're going after. I mean, Marcus Freeman's involved. I mean. I saw a quote from a Don Schuler on the Irish Players Club Twitter space where he said, I talked to Marcus Freeman for a couple hours and he changed my perspective on football. I mean, Marcus Freeman, Darin, I remember when he got the job, I came on your show and I was raving about him. It's like, he is just a special person. Like he's just got this aura about him. He's the same person, whether he's doing the dishes or he's coaching football. Like he is just a very consistent person. And he's just a special recruiter as well.